and I'm so happy you joined us as we continue our mission of celebrating and promoting Jewish history, life, and culture, and their positive and far-reaching impact on the world. Enjoy the following presentation, and if you start to kvel, visit whyilovejewish.org to support our cause. Thank you.
Back in the early 1970s, when I went to Israel, I met Ishaya Tzadok, who owned a store on King David Street, 18 King David Street, and he still owns that store called Tarshish. And through him, I met his nephew Shalom and another nephew, Yitzhak, and another one, Ilan. And I wound up giving them all jobs working in my factory. They were fine craftsmen, Yemenite craftsmen, this Yemenite family. And their grandfather, Avraham Tzadok, was the leader of all the Yemenite Jews who came from Yemen to Israel and gave them silver to work with and taught them a craft. And they all did this type of jewelry and Judaica, where they would make the cup itself on a spindle with a piece of silver, and as it would spin around, they would spin it and make the shape of the cup, and then they would weld and solder each one of these tiny pieces that they would twist wire. They would pull the wire and make it very delicate, very thin, and they would twist it and make these designs, and each piece by hand they would weld the silver onto the cup or whatever it was, the estro, whatever it was that they were welding onto to make their designs. And I always appreciated this type of work. It's not my style, but as far as appreciating it and owning it, I have this collection of Yemenite handcrafted, I'm just showing these few pieces in my gallery, but I have quite a collection of Yemenite crafted, not only Judaica, but jewelry, which is the finest. Amazing pieces. But here you have just a few of the pieces. This is an esrog holder. This is a spice box. These were all used in Jewish ceremonial objects for the Sabbath, for breaking the Sabbath, for different holidays, but they all have their Judaic significance. And it's just amazing that the work that goes into making one of these pieces, they're priceless. You can't find it anywhere. This is definitely museum quality. People just aren't doing this today. Nobody. First of all, they've kept it very close-knit into a Yemenite community of people in Jerusalem who came from Yemen, Jews. You can't find it anyplace. And that's why I appreciate it so much, perhaps, because I know nobody else is going to have it. These are a collection of some of the mezuzahs that I do. Mezuzahs are pieces that go on the doorpost of every Jewish home, and some have them on the entrance to every room. When you mount it, the top of the mezuzah should be tilted toward the inside of your home. Inside the back goes a scroll with a chapter from Deuteronomy, which talks about teaching Judaism to your children and have it carry on. Every Jewish home has to have a mezuzah on the door with a scroll in it. The scroll is actually the mezuzah. What I'm making here is the mezuzah case. The mezuzah, the parchment itself, is a handwritten scroll. But the reason that I don't have the scroll inside the mezuzahs is because the scroll should be what your rabbi approves of. I used to sell with the mezuzah scroll, but people would come back to me and say, my rabbi said it's not kosher enough. It has, there's so many differences of opinion between different rabbis, Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, Chabad. They can come back and tell me, well, my rabbi said that it's not kosher because the Torah scribe who wrote the scroll did not go into the mikveh bath before he wrote the word God each time. It's written 7 times in that scroll. Yud He Vav He. And because he didn't, some say, well, he has to go into, to make it kosher, really kosher, he has to go into the mikveh bath before he writes each letter, Yud He Vav He. And it got so crazy, I said, I'm just not doing scrolls anymore. I do the mezuzah cases. So that's what these are cases. And I do have here a hand-printed scroll in one of them, just to show what it looks like. But that, I tell people when they buy a mezuzah holder for me, to go to their rabbi and their synagogue gift shop and have the scroll approved by them, and when they mount it on the door, have your rabbi bless it, because that's not my department. I'm just the artisan craftsman that makes the cases, the mezuzah cases. This is a menorah with 7 branches, which is the symbol of Israel, actually, as a 7-branch menorah. In the Knesset, in the Israeli Parliament building, there's a menorah that I do, which stands outside, the Knesset menorah it's called. But this one is a Jewish holiday menorah. The originals, I did 2 of these for Temple Beth Ami that are on each door of the Torah Ark. The Ark opens up with all the Torahs, and this is the focal point of the synagogue, is looking at one on each side of the, it has all the Jewish festivals. You have Rosh Hashanah, with the symbol of Rosh Hashanah, the apple and honey. You have Purim, you have Sukkot, you have Pesach, Passover, Moses parting the Red Sea. You have even the Shavuot, you have Tu B'Shvat. These are the real Jewish holidays. You have that's Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year with the Torah, Yom Kippurim.
Stunning. And in the middle?
Here you have a Star of David, and you have Jerusalem.
Shabbos. It says Shabbos in the middle.
Shabbat.